Hello, friends, to yet another live stream on this beautiful Thursday Canadian morning. At least here in Canada, it's very sunny, warm, and yes, our Thursdays live streams for those of you who want to build, have plans to build, or already have your lifestyle business, either as a hypnotherapist or a coach or a digital marketer. So welcome. This live stream will happen, as you know, every Thursday, and I'm now going live not only in this private group that you may be watching, but also in several public groups, and very soon this entire experience will be extended also to Instagram and YouTube, and also LinkedIn, if LinkedIn will allow me to stream, because LinkedIn is a little bit fiddly. That being said, today's topic is crucial things to put on your website in terms of legal matters to protect you and your business if something should go wrong, or even if nothing goes wrong, just to basically cover things in terms of how you expect your users to behave online if you have an online community, or in terms of the usage of the material that you provide them with or give them access to. And very importantly, obviously, for those of you who are doing coaching and offering hypnotherapy services, we also need to talk about the waivers and the liability releases that you absolutely need to have in place to be covered. So, the way we're going to do this, this live stream is an extension of the live stream that I started last week about GDPR, specifically GDPR. So I explained last week what GDPR is, what the main, the important factors are in terms of the GDPR the controller, privacy controller, and the privacy the entity that actually hosts the entire data that you need to make available upon request to your clients or users. And today we are going a little bit broader. We are going to cover more of all the other elements that need to be taken care of to make sure that you're covered. And I will show you the way I have done this on my own website, or let's rather say websites, because we have several platforms. We do online training, online courses. We do provide hypnotherapy services on my personal website that I have. We also offer, as you may know, digital marketing certifications, or let's say exam preparation courses for those of you who would like to become Google certified marketers. So there are various websites and platforms that we use. So we are able to cover pretty large our basis to make sure that you, in case you would at some point in time want to build your lifestyle business with us, you're also covered legally when that happens. So let me share my hypnotherapy website in this case, because this is more geared towards those of you who are offering direct services in terms of coaching or hypnotherapy. And then I'll also talk a little bit to you if you are a digital marketer. There are other things that you need to add to your website as well. So I'm switching to my website here. Here we go. So this is my hypnotherapy service website that I'm basically have set up as a template website for hypnotherapists. I will launch obviously those services to offer me offering hypnotherapy services. I've been certified very recently only with Marissa Peer, an RTT practitioner, and I've also designed my own add-on, which I call it ART. That's what you see here, ART, Advanced Reframing Therapy, because something I believe was not missing. Actually, it was there in RTT, but I wanted to enhance the learning aspect when it comes to the transformation recordings, and this is what I added to my own practice. But that being said, so this is my website, or the templates that we obviously also make available to our students, for those of you who'd sign up later on when we start launching this in August. to those of you who want to build their own lifestyle business and have a website like this. We are offering these services so that it's actually possible to have a full-blown website, marketing funnels, and the traffic going on those pages via Google Ads and Facebook Ads in a matter of a few weeks instead of a few months or sometimes a year or two, because it's not easy to build if you're starting from scratch. So at the very bottom of this website, of my website here, you see all these little links here. These are all the legal things that you need to cover and should cover. It's very important that you take care of those. And we will go little by little through each of those, and then I'll add something specific for digital marketers. Those of you who are building a boutique agency working from home, either as a content marketer writing content or search engine optimization or PPC services, whatever type of digital marketing. So we've seen it all and we've done it all because I've been running a digital agency for 15 years. So we know what needs to be in those legal frameworks for you to be covered. Let's start with GDPR. GDPR I will brush shortly over it because we did it last week a little bit more extensively, but nonetheless, we want this live stream to be complete. So let's start with GDPR. So whenever you click here, you open a page on my website, which is the GDPR page, right? So GDPR privacy notice. And basically what we do is I took a framework that comes straight off a model web page that had been provided by the European community, an entity that is responsible for GDPR, and we adapted that framework, personalized it for this website, for Stef, for my own hypnotherapy practice. And we then modified specific areas to customize it to what we need. So we have here a little explanation so these pages are determined for your clients, right? So I'll explain to you how we make clients accept those terms at the end of this live stream. So don't go away, because right now it's a little bit arduous to go through those elements, and we'll do it very short because we make them available to anyone who is building. If you're building your website with us, but you could also very simply go to my website here and copy this over, and then adapt it your own. And feel free to do so. Whatever I can share freely without me having to involve my team in doing this for you. You should be able to take it and freely work with it. So basically, you have here the applicability. So we explain to clients, come to my website and to my being interested in my services, what this is about. So it's basic introduction. What's the purpose and the legal basis of processing data subjects? So these elements are all elements that were provided by the European community because we need to explain basically to clients what's happening with the information they would be providing in online forms, credit cards, payments, if they are engaged in the community, if you have an online community on your website, all this needs to be covered. So these are introductory, generic explanations that we added and that were suggested to be added, and so we added them, and we just modified them things to make them applicable to my own website. We talk about the transfer of personal data outside of the EEA. I very quickly, you see the type of personalization, customization we hear is our websites are operated and managed from Canada. So it depends where you are, what you put here. And then we are hosted on Linode. You may be hosted somewhere else. So these are the types of customizations that you obviously need to do on your own websites. And for our client students, we will do that for you. Content delivery network, we use CDN, we use Cloudflare, here you see it, Cloudflare, to fasten the access to my websites, because Cloudflare basically installs a copy of your website all over the planet on servers, so that the access to your websites is faster. And being fast with your pages, if they load fast on the internet, obviously, as you know, has a direct impact on the conversions, so on the revenue and the benefits that you can generate with your services. So it's very important. And we have to add that in that case, to this page, because we need to inform the user of our website where his data is being hosted, where it's going. So just very quickly, because I explained that a little bit more in greater length last time, there's this wrong conception that the GDPR would oblige you to host your server in Europe. This is simply wrong. Okay, and even the GDPR, the European Communion, very clearly explains in their own guidelines. They start with your website should be hosted in the Europe to be covered, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so everybody thinks, oh my God, I have to be hosted in Europe, and that's not right. GDPR then adds, but in case you're located outside of the EU, basically where you host your website, that place needs to adopt the same stringent regulations and privacy observations that you would be subjected to if you were hosting in the EU, in Europe. That's all there is. So, long story short, you can be hosted wherever you want to, but you need in that case to verify that the hoster or the services that you use for hosting anything, your website, your online forms, your digital marketing forms, when you collect data about your customers on your website, your payment processes, that all those service providers that you're using, that they actually themselves adhere to GDPR. And that's easy to verify. You would just search with the name of that provider, you add GDPR as a keyword, and you Google that, and you'll find very quickly their pages where they explain how they observe and respect GDPR. More information to that is in the live stream of last week. I invite you to have a look at this one as well. So basically, again, you do not need to be hosted in the EU. It's a very wrong conception. A lot of people have that, still believe that's the case. It is not the case. And that includes Google Sheets. People have asked me, well, Google Sheets is not at all EU compliant. It's not GDPR compliant. Well, it is, very stringently, as a matter of fact, because Google Sheets, Google Docs are hosted in the Google Cloud, and the Google Cloud is 100% owned. I mean, the service 100% owned by Google, and Google is very, very adamant in making sure that everything they provide as a service is GDPR compliant. So, and I verified it even personally, although I had the information that they were compliant personally again last week to have those assurances. So, and the same goes for I believe Dropbox. I haven't verified it. I believe OneNote. Is it OneNote for Microsoft? I think their name is OneNote for collecting information and having hosting your sheets and your forms and everything. So Microsoft, Dropbox, and Google Cloud, Google Sheets are for sure safe. But the others, I would recommend that you look into those. Good. So we've got everything covered here. You've got a GDPR notice. You've got the rights and how to contact us. So we have a service that's taken care in terms of our representative in the European Union. But you don't need that either, because if you represent your own company as a website owner, hypnotherapist, I wouldn't go with a European law firm that could be the contact for answering questions to your GDPR. You can do that your own once you make it available. And as I explained later on, this website that you see here is hosted with Convertri, which is a landing page builder that we make available to our students. And Convertri itself is stringently observing GDPR and makes even a link available if any of your clients, if your website would be hosted like mine here on Convertri, which is what we do for our clients. Not yet. In August, we will offer that services. But automatically, you get a link from Convertri where people, if they would like to know what data you've been collecting, they just enter the link in their browser, click on go to that page, and the page shows them exactly what data you have collected about them in terms of the cookies that have collected data, in terms of the information you've provided in forums and what have you. So, and that obviously makes it very easy. for you to observe it, because GDPR also obliges you to provide access to the information that you're collecting, as you may know. So it's important that the access to that information is made easy for you if one of your clients is asking for it. That being said, this is in place since 2018. I've never been asked by any of our clients to provide them with access to their private data. So, because we're very diligent in asking them for their authorization to collect that data. So, and that is valid, obviously, especially for our European customers, because we have European customers in my digital agency, and I will probably have a lot of customers as well in the European Union when it comes to my hypnotherapy services, which I actually just run to test the waters as a business, so that I can provide the best advice and do build marketing funnels for hypnotherapists and coaches. I want to be a hypnotherapist myself. That was the main purpose, so that I then in turn know what I'm talking about. I just don't like the idea of selling services in terms of the website, marketing funnels, the entire shebang, up to Google ads and Facebook ads, without knowing precisely the problems that you are facing as a coach, hypnotherapist, or digital marketer. So I've decided to become those, to become professional hypnotherapist, to become a professional life coach myself, and I'm already a digital marketer, to know precisely what you're dealing with and to provide the best service I can to you as my future clients. So much to GDPR. Let's move on to the next one. And by the way, if you have questions, you can leave them underneath the comment box wherever you look at this video, and I will be able to read them here on my screen and be able to answer those questions. So next one, terms of use. Now, for the terms of use, it all depends what you're doing. If it's only hypnotherapy services, your terms of use will probably look different than mine, because my terms of use, I have standardized them in such a way that they include all of my web platforms. And I have, as I explained in the beginning, several ones. I'm helping digital marketers become Google certified on a web platform called PPC University. So it's ppc.university. You'll find it on the website, on the web. You have here HypnoStef. That's the website you see here. You have my lifestyle business, which is the platform where I will be offering courses to some of you guys who are interested in knowing how to build a business online from scratch, working from home. Something I've been doing for 15 years. So I will put all that into a course package to explain to you and help you build that yourself. PPC University, I've just been mentioning, this is for digital marketers. I have a website where I talk about matters of spiritual nature, because that's something that's very dear to my heart, and yoga, Raja Yoga, meditation, all this goes to Sadashiva. And then I have my personal website, stefbecker.com. So you see, my terms of use cover all those websites because I want to make it easy for myself. So in this case, I just copy paste the same terms of use. The short version of this is TOS, terms of use, terms of service, TOU. And then my agreements cover all those websites. So they look a little bit bloated because of that, because I cover things like community guidelines, right? If you're a hypnotherapist or a coach and you just have a website with which you offer your services, sell your services with a marketing funnel that has been designed to drive conversions automatically so that you don't need to look for clients anymore, you probably don't have a community. You may have a community, well, probably not, because if it's just you doing business as a coach or a hypnotherapist, if you have a community, you'd very likely be tempted to do that on Facebook, like I do with Facebook groups. But I have an online community on the platform, my lifestyle business, because I need and I wanted to have a very secure environment where my students can talk to each other without being bothered with ads popping up on screen, as it is the case on Facebook. So I wanted to preserve a space very private to my students, and that's happening on my lifestyle business. So we have an entire community platform attached to that, which has been developed under WordPress and body boss, in case you're familiar with online community management. So I needed to add community guidelines because I want to make sure that people who are posting and communicating on this website, my lifestyle business, is covered as well. So you see things here like you will not stalk, threaten, or otherwise harass other persons. You will not spam or use the websites to engage in any commercial activities. You see, that doesn't apply for your hypnotherapy website if you're just offering those services. But you see, I put them in there, and basically what people can do is just like take this and take out what's not applicable to you. You could simply go here and copy paste this and then take out what you don't need. We have sign-in names, password, and unique identifiers on PPC University, so it's important that that is covered as well. I talk about fees and payment. I talk about intellectual property because online courses, we have a lot of videos, worksheets, PDFs for download. We've got sound files to download so that people can listen to the courses while on the go, in the bus or in the car or whatever. So I needed to cover intellectual property, obviously, with trademarks. There's a lot of things that are trademarked on my websites. And then you have the main company actually that governs all that, which is GMI Flight Ace, which is the overall brand of my agency. Actually, GMI stands for Group Marketing Internet, which is the French version, GMI. So, and all the companies that I have, all the websites are governed by that top company. So, and in legal terms, you need to identify who is actually the person that should be contacted if something is wrong or have questions. So then we have the licenses, then how to communicate with us, then warranties, limitation of liability. You see, it's really broad, and this has been reviewed by a lawyer here in Canada, which doesn't mean that you should like simply take it, copy paste and put it on your website, especially not if you're in a different country. If you're in a different country, most likely 98% of it is applicable also, but you should take always great care that you do not take this as face value. This has been validated for my company, in my country, for our purposes. So your purposes may be different, you may be in a different country, and you'd always be good advised to have some legal counsel to have a look at over your over your legal terms that you put on your website. But it can be done, with, you don't need a lawyer. You could how are they called? The legal assistants to lawyers who sometimes know the stuff better than the lawyer actually, because they're writing the stuff and they verify it. I don't remember the name of it, but you can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on Upwork for your country. So you can have advice for legal advice for your specific use case. The termination of agreements, the governing law. This is very important that you specify where if something goes wrong, where somebody can file a complaint or whatever. Well, for us, they have to do this in the province of Quebec, Canada, without regard to its conflicts of laws provisions, because we don't want to be, if something goes wrong, have to travel to, I don't know, if something happens that somebody is not happy with what we were doing in Jordan, and they would say, oh, okay, I filed a complaint in the Jordan courts, and then me to defend myself, I would need to travel and take a flight to Jordan to defend myself. Wouldn't make sense. So we exclude that right away. Terms of service on our website, if for whatever reason something goes wrong, which I touch wood again, has never happened since 2005. That's 15, 16, 17 years already. Jesus. Never happened. But this is in case things happen to be covered. So, but then if something would happen, this happens here in my country, right out of in my local area, so that I'm not financially impacted by anything that may happen. Class action waivers, non-waivers, and everything is covered. So this was terms of service. Something else you need, obviously very important, is the privacy policy. And this privacy policy is actually the original privacy policy that we had besides GDPR, when GDPR was not even to talk about yet, before 2018. Just to be on the safe side, I added the last GDPR privacy policy that we had. And it's stuff that happens on our website in terms of the cookies, third-party analytics, Because if we collect data with Google Analytics, Yandex, Metrica, Publicio, which we use, Sendinblue, which is our marketing provider, Convertful, which is our conversion optimization tools that actually Sendinblue and Convertful our students have access to. Everything is included in the in our course price, basically. We list everything, basically, to inform our users on our website as much as we can, to make it easy for them to understand what they need to cover and what should be covered. Long story short, you can read all this. Children, what do you have your children? We strictly do not process any personal information from children under the age of 13. If you're under 13, please do not provide us with, okay, that's important too, obviously. GDPR, notice, this is something we added then, natural person look and should review the general data protection regulation here. And you see, good that I see this, there's the link missing, because this should be linking to GDPR, which is here. So I will add that. And yeah, how to contact us, which is important for privacy matter. People have to be able to reach out to you. And so we put our phone numbers here of our main office in downtown. Our downtown receptionist is receiving that, the address and everything. So this is the privacy policy. Let's go to the next one, cookie policy. Cookie policy, normally people add it directly to the privacy policy. I liked it to have it separately because I discovered a very good cookie policy. It was on some of Google's own websites, and whenever Google does something, you'd better copy it because they're pretty good in terms of covering their bases. So we explain here basically what are cookies, the strictly necessary cookies. Then we have affiliate program cookies that we use, and this is completely different for you, right? We indicate clearly what is used on hypnostef.com and what is provided on different websites. For example, on my lifestyle business, I have a different cookie. But as I do everything for all our websites with one cookie policy, everything is in this one. Performance cookies, so we detail everything that Google Analytics does, Yandex does, this opt-in monster does on our website. Functional cookies, we explain everything. We explain how long those cookies are valid. They are 1 year valid. This one is 2 years valid. But between you and me, cookies are valid for as long as the user wants them to be valid, because you can go into your browser and erase all the cookie data, and that's it. Then it goes back to zero. This is if nothing is done. So we have then targeting cookies, because we are digital marketers, right? So we are helping. I want to help people who help I want to help people who help other people become successful or overcome obstacles. That's dear to my heart. That's why I want to help hypnotherapists. That's why I want to help coaches, and I want to help digital marketers, because I want to put digital marketers in contact with hypnotherapists and coaches so that everybody can work together to the best of their abilities to then achieve something bigger than what you could achieve if you were just working by yourself. So I'm putting my digital marketing knowledge at the service of coaches and hypnotherapists. That's really what's important to me, because I just love working with people who help other people. And so for this, we collect a lot of data with Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, DoubleClick, Twitter, and everything. So we list them all here, Reddit, right? Because they are collecting information for us. So, but these are the tools, these are the service providers that we use. So we need to provide the information. I think we could have simply said that we're having various cookies and then just put the names. This is like really very detailed, right? You don't find that often. But between you and me, there's a nice French proverb, not a proverb, but a saying that says, qui peut dire le plus, qui peut faire le plus, peut faire le moins. Translated, it means those who can do it all can do the small. Well, I don't know if that makes sense, but basically it means like if you cover your bases everywhere, then you don't need to worry about just covering the smaller stuff if you don't need it all. If you put it all on there, well, you go beyond, above and beyond what is required. It's always better to have covered all bases, and that's a philosophy I have, a general philosophy in my life. Also something I tell to my son very often. Just a little anecdote to give you that. whenever I tell him to do something specifically, something to learn, something to do, something to engage into, even if he doesn't need it, for example, for school. Right now he's doing a program. He's 12 years old, my Alexander, his name. He's doing a program called UCMAS. And that's a terrific program for young children from between 5 and 13, actually. So he joined late, but anyway, where the students, the children, are trained to develop their brains. So they use math to do calculations, rather tough calculations in their heads. And the system works with, the way they teach it is with an abacus. You know the abacus, like it's Chinese. You have this board with beads, and then you move the beads around to calculate your stuff. So this organization, Yugmas, trains them how to do simple additions and simple subtractions, and it becomes more and more complex. But I kid you not, it's kids like 5, 6, 7 years old who do stuff like, let me give you an example. 562 plus 755 minus 247 plus 700, 48.6 minus 700 plus 3 minus, and they give it like I'm telling you. And at the end of my list of numbers, the kid of 7, 8 years old gives you this number, the result straight out of their head. It's absolutely mind-blowing when I saw this. And they told me it works by engaging the child's brain on all 4 levels of your brain. Instead of just using your logic, your conscious mind, they train the subconscious mind to work all together with visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and textual inputs in the brain, because the brain is so much more than just like your left side brain, which is connected to the right brain, hiding the right hand. So basically, long story short, sorry, I didn't want to go too much into detail. It's so fascinating because I was like flabbergasted when this 5-year-old was in front of the class to demonstrate what he's able to do, and he won prizes all over the place. They all win prizes all over the place. But I kid you not, those kids don't need tutors anymore. It's not about math. Math is just used to train the brain, but they excel in all the other materials. They excel in languages, in geography, in math, in sports, in whatever, because their brain is firing on all levels. They have been trained with this system. So he was asking me, hey, why do I need to do this? Because at school, nobody's doing this. I'm the only one. And I understand when you tell me that it's better for my brain, but I don't need that. Why would I need that? I'm telling them that. But you know what? In life, even if you don't think that you need something specific, if you have the time to do something that improves your skills, your knowledge, or your performance on whatever level, engage in it. Because what it does, it's opening a door. That's the main thing, I believe, in life, to open as many doors as we can. You never know when you want to use that door. And if it's closed, you simply can't use it. But if you've opened all those opportunities, if you've learned all that stuff and that door is already open for you, well, guess what? You've got a lot more opportunities to choose from. And that's something he understands. So whenever I tell him, well, you know what? This opens another door. And he immediately says, I got it. Then he does it, and he does it well. He likes it. So it's a fun thing to do, basically. Coming back to my screen here, let me share my screen because I'm talking about something you don't even see what I'm doing here. I just realized. Anyway, now you see my screen. So I'm going back to the very top. So this is the cookie policy. So we define really everything here. Where this cookie is used, what the provider is, when it expires, the cookie, the targeting cookies that I just mentioned, where they are used, where they're coming from Sumo. This one's from Facebook. This one is from LinkedIn. This one is from Google. This one is from Twitter. We specify it, and we go very much into detail. Again, I open doors. I'm just telling myself, if whatever happens, I provide that information. Nobody can ask me I didn't see it, because we will ask people, have you seen this and do you agree? And if they agree, it's their responsibility to have looked at it. It's no longer mine. Okay, this is what this is for. So These are the cookies, and then the last one here. No, wait a minute, we had it already. GDPR, terms of use, privacy, cookie. Something's missing. What's missing? Oh, yeah. If you're a hypnotherapist, you also need a liability waiver, right? Here's the liability waiver, hypnotherapy, specifically for hypnotherapy. So I will develop one with my legal team specifically for coaches and for digital marketers. I can show you that a little bit later on. So this basically is an adaptation from what we have been given by Marissa Peer in the RTT course, right? So I adapted that. I increased the scope of this waiver. So we define the liability here. I hereby release Stef Becker, me, the hypnotherapist, from any liability or claims, etc., etc. I define the scope of practice. I define my participation. I define my guarantees. I talk about the audio recordings, and I do video deepener recordings as well, something I add to my services. So they're all listed here. The deepening process, what happens there if I'm, for whatever reason, should be meeting a client physically in a clinic or here at home. Sometimes I would need to lift their arm, touch the shoulders, or rock the head. You know, RTT teaches how we can effectively apply deepening techniques during our hypnotherapy sessions. I talk about confidentiality, and then again, place of litigation has to be Montreal, province of Quebec, Canada. Right, and then there's a signature or e-signature. So these are the physical forms that you find on my website. You've seen them here linked underneath here at the bottom. You see them here. Here they are. Okay, and the way I collect the consent from people is very simply, whenever they engage in anything on my website with me. If they want to contact me, nobody on my website can contact me, get in touch with me without running and accepting those privacy policies, GDPR policies, cookie policies, and liability waivers. That's a given, right? So the way I do this is, for example, here. You have, as far as I'm concerned, on my website, you have no contact information because I want everybody to, that's a marketing funnel, to do only one thing for one page, one objective for one page. The objective of this homepage is I want to drive people to a free discovery call with me, because before even talking to anyone, taking over the phone or whatever, I want to make sure that I understand what they're looking for and if you're a right fit. So, but whenever that happens, so I'm clicking now on free discovery call. Whenever that happens, they want a free discovery call with me, they have to go through an application quiz, right? You could call it a questionnaire or a form or whatever. I give it a fun name, application quiz for hypnotherapy discovery call with Stef. And whenever they they want to engage to booking, sorry, let me go back to this because you didn't see it on my website. 1 second. Boom, boom. Sharing my screen. Here we go. So whenever they go on my website, free discovery call, and they click here, they come through this application quiz for a hypnotherapy discovery call with me, right? If they start the process, they need to consent. And each of the policies now is listed here. So we should and must reasonably accept that somebody who is going through this process will be clicking on those links to open those links and read what's written in there. I just showed you all those policies, but it's their responsibility to do this before they consent, obviously. So I asked him very clearly, I take your privacy seriously, and providing answers to this form, you agree to have read and understood the usage and the protection of your information as outlined in our privacy policy, GDPR, terms of use, and cookie policy. And if they consent, everything's fine and everything continues. If they don't consent, let's make the test, they cannot go further. That's what I wanted you to see. Unfortunately, I can't do a discovery call without knowing you and your circumstances beforehand. To do that, I need your consent to collect and store your personal information. Please press I agree when you're ready to give your consent, and we will proceed with this process. Thank you very much for your understanding. So I tell them very politely but very clearly, you will not be able to get on a discovery call with me if you don't consent to what I am obliged by law, GDPR, the European Community, to collect from you, your consent that I'm actually authorized by you, my client, my potential client, to collect the information that I need to engage into even a discovery call, because the discovery call is collecting information, and beforehand I want some information from that potential client, prospective client as well. So this is how I do it. Let's go back to the form. What happens? So now they agree, okay? And now it goes further. Okay, now hypnotherapy works. This is an introduction. This is my confidential application form. And now I ask questions. I ask them their first name, their last name. You see, now all this information that I'm giving here must happen after a consent, right? I cannot collect any type of information without having collected this consent. Stef at hypnostef.com. So this is contact information, right? Hypnostef.com. And now I have, how did you find me? Now I start collecting personal data. This is marketing data. I want to know, where do you come from? But again, I have the consent to collect this data now. And I'm collecting, okay, what are the challenges you're struggling with? So as you see, it's the entire discovery call already has been designed, the discovery call funnel, has been designed in such a way that I collect information that's important to me to know about my potential client before even engaging into a discovery call. And down the line on this questionnaire, this quiz, there are some questions where I also ask them whether or not they're committed enough, if they will be investing the time that's required to listen to a transformation recording for 21 days at a minimum. This kind of information, I ask for that too before even they get to the discovery call. If for whatever reason during the quiz, my quiz has been set up in such a way that if I detect that they're not committed enough, the arborescence, like the path on this questionnaire, will lead them to a thank you page where I tell them, I think we're not the right fit, or it's too early, or whatever. If they're not committed enough, I don't want to talk to them. As easy as that. I only want to talk to people that are committed, and that to make sure that I'm not losing my time on the call, right? And the same goes for coaching. If you're a fitness coach and you have somebody who's, a fitness coaching would be nice, but would I put that work in? Like, you want to see me 4 times a week or talk to me 4 times? No, that's a little bit much. Well, I'm maybe engaged, 5 or 6 out of 10. Well, you could have done on your questionnaire, this quiz here that you see here, you could have asked for the commitment out of 1 to 10. And if it's a 5, 6, or 7, you could just politely tell them, I don't think we are a good fit. So, and that eliminates the people from your marketing funnel to avoid you to talk to people that are not committed enough. I don't know about you, but I only want to work with people who are committed. They have thought this through. They know that they have a problem. They know they're looking for a solution. They want you to be that solution. Well, the minimum is that you are committed to do what's required to do to be successful, because otherwise, what's the point? So that's a way of filtering out all those people which are not committed, and to talk to those who are committed, who've then very likely we will run all these marketing funnels as a test, and I will report to those on a regular basis in my live stream so that you can see the conversion rates, like real numbers. We measure everything very precisely with what's called A/B tests. We have an A version of the quiz, we have a B version of the quiz, we have an A version of a landing page, we have a B version of the landing page. For example, a landing page about smoking. Let's go quickly back to the main website here, and I'll show you what I mean with that. If we are here on the smoking page, the stop smoking page, we could have an A version, just a picture here with a guy running. A person who is happy to have stopped smoking because now he's able to engage into fitness practice that were just simply absolutely impossible before because the smoke was just way too heavy. Now he's running and happy, etc., etc. But this could be an A version. There's text and an image, nothing else, right? But the B version now could be, instead of this person running here, it could be me, full frame, talking about my hypnotherapy services and how I help people stop smoking with rapid transformational therapy or advanced reframing therapy and how I do it. And I can explain how well I understand the problem they're going through. So a video creates rapport, it explains things, it is more personalized. And now we would test the version A of this landing page where it's just like text and a picture with the B version where I talk and see which one converts better. Meaning from which page do I get more discovery calls? And obviously at some point in time I would say, okay, if it's version B with the video, let's scrap version A and let's do another version. Then the version B with the video becomes version A now because the better one. And we design another version B to test, let's say, another type of video with B-roll, like people engaging in fitness practice and there's just a voiceover. Little by little, we test all those different landing page scenarios and setups. With that's what a landing page builder is for, such as Converto that students with My Lifestyle Business will have access to. Everything included in the course. There's no additional cost for this. But now you're able to progressively enhance and optimize. That's called conversion optimization. Your conversions until you have as less lost visits on your website as possible. So that basically at some point in time, you have conversion rates of 30, 40, 50%, which is insane, but it's possible. That's how it works, basically. Good. So this is everything I wanted to cover today. If you have questions right now, you can post them to the comment section below this video, wherever you are, wherever you're watching. Right now, we are live on 2 pages and 1 group, but next week or in 2 weeks, this will increase significantly. It will be live on YouTube as well and on LinkedIn, most likely Instagram. So wherever you are and wherever you see this video, if you leave a comment underneath that video, it will pop up here on my screen. I will be able to see it and answer questions live. For today, I thank you very much for having taken the time to watch. And I'm losing my words. I wish you a nice Thursday, end of the Thursday, a nice weekend coming up. And I'll see you next week on Thursday at noon EST here in Montreal. Have a nice one.